Hi friends and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about all of the books that are on my end of the year TBR. The year is almost over. I just literally can't believe it, like this year just flew by. I feel like I'm feeling like this every end of the year, like every end of the year I'm like, this has gone way too fast. But also I have already read so many amazing books, but there are a few books that I really want to have read by the end of this year. This video is going to be sectioned into 3 parts. First I'm going to talk about all of the fantasy books that I want to read. Then I'm going to tell you all about the Christmas books that I want to read. And then we're going to talk about all of the literary fiction / mystery books, because there are a few that I'm not really sure to put in which category, so I'm just gonna put them in one category, literary fiction / mystery. So I would say without further ado, let's start off with the fantasy books that I really want to read. So first I got Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. This one is about a girl who is being sent to London to live with her very eccentric family. And during her stay she also meets this boy in London and she kind of has a crush on him or falls in love. I'm not really sure, I haven't read the book. But soon she realizes her family is more than a little bit eccentric. They are actually monsters, and the boy she has a crush on is a monster hunter. So she's figuring out how she can fight this monster hunter of her family. But to fight off this monster hunter, she also has to get in touch with her own monstrousness. And I think it sounds so interesting and so intriguing. I feel like this is gonna be very magical, but I also really love that it's like set in the real world, but there are monsters in it. Like, those are always my favorite kinds of books. So I'm just really excited to read the series. I also got this super pretty special edition from Fairy Loot. It also has this little art inside. It's just stunning. I'm just really excited to read this one. And I also have the second one on my Kindle. If the time allows, I'm gonna read the second one as well this year, but we'll see. Like, it's not on this list. Alright, and next I got Piranesi by Suzanne Clark. But I've been hearing a lot about this, like on social media, and also some of my bookish friends are really loving this book. And this is about Piranesi, who lives in this very weird house that is unlike any other, where walls are infinite and there are statues everywhere and waves are flooding the house. But while he explores this house, he uncovers terrible truths that reveal a world that is so beyond everything Piranesi has known this far. I feel like it's gonna be a very imaginative book. I feel like it's gonna take me into a whole nother world and blow my mind, and it's also pretty short, which I appreciate. Yeah, I'm just really excited for this one. I feel like it's gonna be just an adventure that won't let me go, hopefully. And next I got Bunny by Mona Award. So this has been on my TBR since this year, and it's about an introverted girl who gets an invitation to this rich clique, high society college clique, I don't know, and they're called the Bunnies because they call each other Bunny. But actually nothing is as it seems. And the bunnies are actually conjuring monstrous creations during their workshops, and the edges of reality begin to blur. And I'm just so intrigued by the synopsis. I feel like this could have so much potential. It could potentially be very weird, which is what I've heard about this book, that it's very weird. But it could also just blow me away. I don't know, I feel like it's the perfect book for this like moody, wintry season. I'm just really intrigued by this. I feel like I'm really in the mood for some weirder books, for something that's gonna blow my mind. I hope I get around to it. So those were all of the fantasy books that I'm hoping to have read by the end of this year, and now we're getting into the Christmassy books. Tis the damn season! I'm just so excited for the Christmas season. I'm already so in the mood for Christmas. Every time I'm going outside, I feel like the air is so crisp, smells like Christmas, I don't know. I'm just so excited for this season and I'm gonna embrace it to the fullest. And I'm also planning to film a Christmas reading vlog kind of video. So those are the books that might be in that video. but also might not be in that video. Like, I'm just gonna see what I feel like reading. So they are definitely on my TBR for the Christmas season. But if you want to see that video, make sure you subscribe to my channel. So the first book that is on my Christmassy winter TBR is actually not a full-on Christmas book, but it's a wintry book, which is called Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. And this one is about a figure skater who falls in love with an ice hockey player. And it really reminds me of Icebreaker for some reason, because it's also a figure skater and an ice hockey player, but with a lot less spice, hopefully. I did enjoy Icebreaker, but I'm just not in the mood for spice right now. So I would really appreciate it if there was less spice, but I'm expecting that to be, because the focus is a lot on mental health and the ice hockey player is suffering from panic attacks. And I always love me a mental health book. Since it's also very focused on ice sports, I feel like it's gonna be the perfect read for the season. And yeah, I'm just super excited for this one, and I hope it has a lot of depth. And then I got a book that I have bought last year for the Christmas season, but didn't get around to reading it, and that is A Winter in New York by Josie Silver. I have read One Day in November. One Day in November. I read One Day in December by Josie Silver. I was absolutely loving that one. Like, that was such a journey, that book. So I'm having high hopes for this one just because I have loved One Day in December. And this one is about Iris, who moves to New York to restart her life. And I think she's a cook or a baker or something. I'm not 100% sure on that. She is pretty intimidated by how big New York actually is. Like, she expected this romance movie atmosphere, and she's kind of getting that, but also it's very overwhelming. Like, New York is huge. She actually wants to hide in her apartment, but her best friend doesn't let her, and drags her outside to Little Italy. There she discovers an ice cream shop, which she has actually seen before on a photo of her mother's. And the owner of that ice cream shop is a very cute guy, and I think they fall in love, but she knows the secret recipe of that ice cream shop from her mother for some reason, and it's all like a bit of drama, I think. Yeah, I don't know too much because I haven't read the book, but it sounds very intriguing. I feel like the New York Christmassy atmosphere is gonna give me all the feels. At least that's what I'm hoping for. And the cover is also just stunning. And next is a book that I actually got on my Kindle, and that is The Mistletoe Mystery. And this one is a novella about Molly the maid. More on that later. I'm currently reading or listening to The Maid. I'm gonna tell you more about this later because this is on a list later on, but I am currently listening to that and I'm not that far into it. But this is another little mystery about Molly the maid, but it's set at Christmas time. I've actually discovered the audiobook through this novella because this novella was on sale at the Kindle shop, so I bought it and then started listening to the audiobook of The Maid because I really wanted to read this Christmas novella because it sounded really good. And then there's also another book that I've bought on sale on my Kindle, and that is Upon a Frosted Star. This one is supposed to be a fairy tale inspired by The Great Gatsby and Swan Lake, and the cover also looks very Christmassy. So I'm just really in the mood for like a very fairy tale-esque story. So I feel like this is gonna be perfect for this season. And it's about an artist who receives a magical invitation to this notorious annual party with a mysterious host. And while the artist tries to uncover more about the host, he discovers an abandoned mansion with a cursed woman who is trying to be free. And that summary just sounds so intriguing, and I feel like it could be very engaging because there is a mystery involved in this, and I love books with mystery lately. So those were all of the Christmassy books that I'm hoping to read this season. But I'm such a mood reader, so we'll see like how many of these books I'm actually gonna get done. Let's move on to the literary fiction / mystery books. I'm so excited for all of them because I'm just so in the mood. If you've seen my last reading vlog, I'm just so in the mood for literary fiction books and mystery books at the moment. I just want to read about all the like deep stories that are gonna blow my mind. So I'm hoping that these books can deliver that. The first book that I got on this list is Betty, and this one is about a girl who's growing up in poverty as the sixth sibling, as the sixth, why can't I say this word? Sixth sibling, my gosh, as the sixth sibling of 8 siblings, but she still keeps that very curious outlook on life and is still like, I feel like, a very positive person. At least that's what the summary sounded like. And she discovers very dark secrets about her family and also a way to escape it, and that is through writing. I feel like it's gonna be a very deep and very moving literary fiction book about a family that's gonna leave me breathless, hopefully, and give me so many new perspectives for the new year. It's a very long one, so it has about almost 500 pages, I think. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna get through this whole book in 1 or 2 months. I'm just very intrigued by the summary. And then next I got a book that I actually have started one time, but then for some reason stopped reading, and that is The Storied Life by A.J. Fikry. I have heard about this book since 2014, I feel like, on booktube, on bookstagram, everywhere, and then the hype kind of stopped, but recently it has come back. Like, recently I've heard more people talk about it again, and this story is about a grumpy old man who owns a bookshop, who has lost his wife and has very few people in his life, and one day a mysterious package arrives at the doorstep, which is changing his whole life and his whole perspective on life. That's all I really know about it. I know that the package might be a child, if I remember correctly. I just love having these like super new perspectives before the new year starts and just like getting excited about life and change and this journey that is life again. Like, I just love this like glittery feeling of a new year, if you know what I mean. So that's what I'm hoping to get out of this. And like I said before, I am currently listening to the audiobook of The Maid, but I'm not that far into it yet, so I'm still putting it on my list of books that I want to read this year. This book is about Molly the maid, who is struggling socially and with social norms. I'm guessing that she is autistic, but it's not specifically said in that book yet. But it's very specifically said that she's like really struggling with social norms, and being a maid gives her security in life, makes her feel like she's having a space in this world, until one day when she discovers a dead body in one of the rooms while cleaning that room. And with that, she becomes enveloped in all of this criminal activity without like being actually aware of it. I'm just eating this up because I always love me a neurodivergent story. I always love me someone who's not like fitting into society 100%. I'm hoping it's gonna stay that way, and I'm hoping I can read the Christmas novella after it. And I'm also filming a reading vlog reading this. So if you want to see that reading vlog, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I'm gonna post it probably in the next few weeks, 1 or 2 weeks. I'm not 100% sure yet how long it's gonna take me to finish that one. And next is another book that I've just started reading. That is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I have recently read Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, and that one was so incredible. It was one of my favorite books of this year, and I'm just obsessed with her writing style. I'm just obsessed with how she develops a story and how we're like getting all of these little details here and there, and we're like getting to know these characters so deeply with so much background, and then we're solving this mystery by getting all of these little details. Little Fires Everywhere is about a rich family called the Richardsons living in a suburban kind of town near Cleveland, I think. One day they find their home up in flames with little fires on every single bed. We don't know what has happened, but we go back into the past and get to know this family, not from the very beginning, but from a certain time in their lives. And we get to know them more and more details are being revealed. And I haven't read that far yet, so I don't know what actually is happening, but I'm just absolutely loving it. Like, I still have to get to know the characters properly to be like fully invested. I feel like that's the thing with Celeste Ng's books, that I have to get really into the story by getting to know the characters, and then I'm like super invested and can't stop reading. But I haven't reached that point yet because I'm only, I think, 20 pages into it. And the last book that I got on this list is The God of the Woods. And this one is an audiobook that I've recently purchased on Audible, and it's this mystery, and I'm just very intrigued to read this. I've actually wanted to listen to this over the Halloween time, but I didn't get around to it, so I'm feeling like I can just read this now since I'm in the mystery mood anyway. But this one is about a summer camp where a girl goes missing, and that girl is the daughter of a family who owns that summer camp but also employs the most people in that region. It actually isn't the first time that a child from that family goes missing, so there's this whole mystery of what is actually happening and why these children are going missing. It could potentially be very creepy, but it also could have a magical aspect. I'm not 100% sure because the book is called The God of the Woods, so I'm feeling like it could go in this like fantasy magical direction, but it also could be like very just like a criminal case that has nothing to do with anything in terms of magical realism or fantasy. Like, I feel like it could go in both directions, and I'm just super intrigued by this book. But it's also a bit of a longer one, I think. So those were all of the books that I'm hoping to have read by the end of this year. We'll see how it actually goes. I have currently read 27 books, and it's currently mid-November, so I'm kind of hoping just a little bit that I'm going to be able to read 13 books until the end of this year, but I also don't want to put too much pressure on myself. But I'm someone who just loves to set like unrealistic goals, so we'll see if I'm gonna be able to read 13 books by the end of this year. But I also got a lot to do for uni, and I'm filming a lot of YouTube videos at the moment, so we'll see how it's actually gonna go. If you have unrealistic reading goals for your end of the year TBR, like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just read how you feel like reading and mood read the heck out of these last 2 months, and then be super excited for next year because we've got a fresh slate next year and can completely start anew. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!